We now move over to Dilchad. Dilchad, I've worked closely with Dilchad previously, and Dilchad is now heading up the BRM function at Emirates Nuclear Energy Corporation in Dubai. Dilchad, as Gary mentioned, is a board member of the Global BRM Institute, and she's a member of the relationshipism team with Tom and myself, helping drive the new triple bottom line of business, which is the people, purpose, and planet elements that Tom took us through earlier. She's previously headed up the BRM function for the Dilchad Group in Dubai. And prior to that, Dilchad was a senior BRM at the Foschini Group, where she played a key role in developing an updated engagement model between IT and business divisions. So highly experienced in the BRM arena. Welcome, Dilchad. Same questions to you. What did you say to yourself back on your first day as BRM? How has being a BRM allowed you to add value? And how has the pandemic changed relationships in your organization and how's BRM helped in navigating this new world?
Thank you, Baz. Hi, good evening, everyone. Those are really great questions. So thank you for allowing me to speak at your wonderful get-together. I think you guys have put something phenomenal together, and it is a model that we can all copy and paste. I'm really impressed by your work. And it's an amazing experience, so thank you for that. I think on my first day, I would have wanted to hear the journey ahead is exciting, because boy, it is exciting. If you're new to BRM, it is a blank canvas. It is something that you can mold and make your own. And I think it's important that every BRM knows that their energy translates into the outcomes that they expect ultimately at the end of the day. So bring your best energy. I needed to know that I needed to obsess over knowledge, business knowledge, IT knowledge. It became who I was in the first few months, and that knowledge. With that knowledge came in incredible power. And one of our key competencies in BRM, we say business IQ, but what we need to say is exceptionally great business IQ, because it helps you have phenomenal conversations and interactions and moments where you can collaborate and contribute and drive that business value. And I think through respectful and really fearless interactions, you find and you strike that balance. We talk about maturity a lot, right? So when I first saw that 5-step maturity model, when I got my BRMP, and by the way, I wanted to hear get your BRMP. But when I first heard it, first saw it, I only looked at the business side of the model. I did not focus on the right side. And when I worked through the model and I really obsessed over the knowledge, I found that the IT maturity as well as the business maturity needed to kind of happen at the same time, or at least progress at the same time. You know, if your provider sits in a service provider mindset and they cannot meet a business that wants to be a strategic partner with you, it becomes a bit of a challenge. So as that BRM, you've got to constantly listen and understand, and that's the trick about the listening, is really understanding IT's challenges and understanding the business challenges and finding that win-win. And I wanted to be told, get your BRMP a lot sooner, right? It really gave me a lot of what I needed to drive strategic direction. I didn't know how. BRM taught me that. It gave me a practical approach. It gave me a framework, and I'm not selling BRM. It just worked. It really does work. It gives you a pragmatic, and it opens so many doors for you. But again, respect, fearlessness, playfulness, that is what I wanted to hear on day one. I think in terms of how has it, to answer your second question around how it's helped me add value, I think what is important is being that connector, is showing the art of possible, and being that advocate of business value. It helps the business realize their purpose, and that is ultimately the role of the BRM. It is about enabling cultural shifts. It's enabling maturity to happen in an organic manner. But I think what's very important is that you demonstrate the art of possible, and it's about the action and not the talk. There's always a lot of talk about how do we formulate a strategy, but it's how to demonstrate those key capabilities of BRM. And we sit back and we wonder, how do we execute this and get your CBRM is the second thing I wanted to hear when I first started BRM. But it's important that when a BRM orchestrates great conversations and orchestrates great prioritization, do we actually bring that great value, and that is achieving the purpose. You're an enabler, you're a vessel, and you've got to see yourself as that. I think that alone is just achieving objectives that the business need to grow, to transform. You play a pivotal role there, and being a BRM comes with a lot of responsibility, and we don't always remember that. So remember that your role comes with a ton. You're a mini CEO, you're an ambassador of an organization that needs to enable a strategy. Yeah. It's very hard during COVID to answer your third question. I changed jobs in the middle of COVID in May this year, in the middle of a lockdown in the UAE. Not only is it the most culturally diverse environment I've ever come across, but I moved from retail into nuclear energy. I then also shifted from a team of 5 to heading up a team of 10. And to this day, I have not met a single one of my colleagues. Because I work in federal government, I'm not allowed video calls. So none of us have video for security reasons. So I had to go back to basics, and I went, all right, so what would I tell myself on day one as a BRM? How would I cultivate relationships with all of these challenges? And I couldn't buy coffee. Coffee was the one way I would cultivate relationships. If I had a difficult conversation that I was going into, I would buy coffee. I spent lots of time and money buying coffee as a young BRM, and it's certainly something that sits in everybody's, should be in everybody's cachet, is buy a coffee, right? So I asked myself, what has COVID taken from us? And I came up with 3 answers. It's taken away our sense of certainty. It's taken away our sense of security, and it's taken away the concept of predictability. So I thought, well, if I were to emulate in every interaction a sense of certainty with my organization, my team, my business partners, if I gave them a sense of security with every interaction, and if I left them thinking that they could predict my next move and actually become predictable over time, then I would cultivate some sense of relationship. It's 6 months down the line, and what I also learned is that empathy in this time is absolutely important. Jeremy, you spoke about doing a 2-year project in 2 months. We released 12 websites in 7 days. And so COVID has changed not only the way we work, but also the pace and the pressure, and it's less people doing the job. So with that, you need to have a lot of empathy, and that has taught me to listen better. I can't see the person's face. I can't take cues from their body language. So I've learned to listen better. That's what COVID has given me, and I have an incredible working relationship. I think they've nicknamed me Mother Teresa at work because every time I leave a meeting, people are happy. But that's ultimately it's honing our communication skills, our listening skills, and it's actually helping us cultivate better relationships. I think, unfortunately, some good has come from it. Fortunately, should I say? That's it.
Thanks for those insights, Dilchad. Wonderful, as things as simple as a cup of coffee can make a difference. And I've been very privileged to see how you've exercised those and gone from a relationship where an MD of an organization extremely frustrated to an MD that using some of those methods that you spoke about, saying, you've shown me what is possible. So I think, and that's a long journey. It was strategically done using all the methods, but that is what's possible. And so thanks for those insights. And as you say, with COVID, it's forced us to really look at relationships and to focus on them. But that, while COVID is a very negative thing to have in our lives and throughout the world, the relationship elements and the focus there has been one of the positive elements that's come through. So thank you so much for those insights, Dilchad. Really wonderful to have you as part of the discussion.